Hey guys, what's up? It's Nowell and welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 2 of my wedding planning series. Today we are talking about getting and finding your wedding dress. In this series, I talk about all things wedding related. So I am a bride-to-be. We are getting married in 2024. I share the highs and lows, the stresses, the fun parts, the budgets, the numbers, the details, any tips and tricks I learn along the way. I am very unfamiliar with this wedding industry, so I've learned so much along the way, and I'm making this series to share with you guys just in case you're in the same boat and you want to know more detail. Let's start by talking about scheduling the appointment. Normally, you have to schedule your appointment in advance unless you're going to like a showroom or like a sale, something where it's just a time frame and then people can come in and out. But most boutiques and stores, if you want like a specific salesperson to help you, you need to book in advance. Most appointments are an hour long, except the one I went to where I found my dress was 2 hours long, but that was the first appointment that I've heard was 2 hours. I actually didn't know that until we got there and we were midway through and she was like, yeah, this is a 2 hour appointment. So I just assumed it was an hour, but it wasn't. But I would say most appointments are an hour long. To be honest, you could probably only try on 5 dresses. For one of my hour appointments, I was only able to try on 5 dresses and I wasn't even spending like that long in them. Obviously, like I looked in the mirror, I tried it on, went to like the pedestal, the 3-way mirror, looked at it. My mom was there, she looked at some details, and then I was like, yes or no, and we tried on the next one. So unless you're like super quick, you put it on in the dressing room, you're like, nope, not even gonna walk out and show whoever's with me. You might be able to try on a couple more, but I would say 5 is probably like at a good pace. You're showing your guests who are with you, your family members, your friends, and then you're going back in the dressing room. I think 5 is a good number. So just keep that in mind. Unless you have exactly like the designer, the dress name that you want to try on and the store actually has that in stock, or like in store for you to try on as a sample, then you probably will have to go to multiple stores to find your dress, which is fun. As someone who doesn't dress up a lot, is pretty casual, wedding dress shopping is just so fun because you feel like a princess, you're pampered too, the stylist is there for you, they help you in and out of your dress, they go pick out other dresses for you, they have suggestions for you, and honestly, it's just a fun time. So going to more than one, not a bad thing. Let me just tell you, there are some shops that do require a fee. I don't know if that is a new thing to 2023 or not. I've talked to my friends who have gotten married and they got married like 4 or 5 years ago and a year ago, and they didn't have any fees for any of their appointments. So I don't know if that's a 2023 thing. I don't know if that's where I was looking to buy dresses thing. But just be aware that they could charge you money to go look at dresses. And I was shocked by this. I purposely went to places that didn't require a fee, and that's where I found my current dress. The fees for where I was ranged from $30 to $100, depending on how many guests you brought with you. So one place said if you had 4 or more guests, it would be $100, and this is a non-refundable fee. If you find your dress that day, that money will go towards your dress. But if you don't, then you're just, as they like to say, shit out of luck, and you're down $30 to $100. So just be cautious of that when you're signing up. Most of them had it on their website. Some of them didn't tell me until I like wanted to book an appointment, and they said, oh, you have to sign this contract agreement, basically that you will pay a fee for coming, and then it's non-refundable. I do want to quickly mention, I think for the fees, obviously, the more expensive ones I think are for the higher tiered wedding dress boutiques, and also some of them might offer you free champagne versus just water, or like maybe more snacks versus just like a cookie or can't, like, you know, so there's just different levels. So just ask questions when you're booking your appointment. Let's go over, there are tiers to wedding dress boutiques that I found. So if you guys are on a strict budget, just be cautious of this, because if you want to spend only $2,000 on a dress, don't go to a store that only sells $6K and up. Like, obviously that doesn't make sense. Kind of what I found is that there are dress shops for like $4 to $5K and under. Then you have $4K to $10K. Then you have like $6K and up. And then obviously you have designer, which if you can afford that, then go you. Those are kind of the levels. So just ask again, like, what is the range of dress prices? And then also you could shop by specific designer if you liked. For example, Justin Alexander was a designer that I really liked. I didn't end up getting a dress from him, but on his website, he had a store locator that said like all stores that carry Justin Alexander. So that is another way you can search for dresses. But what I did, I just Google Maps like wedding dress shops near me and found them, looked at their website. They often have dresses on their website, so you can get a feel of like what variety they have and if you like them, if you don't. And so then you just call or schedule online and book an appointment. That's all the info I had on booking the appointment, the actual boutique. So if you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. Let's move on now to the actual wedding dress. So I want to go over a few kind of wedding dress styles, just so you guys know the difference. Again, I'm not an expert, but this is just what the stylist told me at my appointment, and I wrote it down and remembered it for this video. So you have an A-line dress. It's like form-fitting up top, hits you at the waist, and then just flows. There's nothing under it to make it poof out. There's no tulle. It just, depending on your body, just flows to the ground. And then you have a ball gown dress. Very similar to an A-line dress, except the ball gown has tulle under it or something under it to make it poof out, hold its shape, and be more full. More of like, you know, a ball gown, a princess dress. And then you have the more form-fitting dresses. So you have kind of the mermaid, which is snug up until like around your knees, I think. I don't know the exact place where it flares out, but at the bottom, it starts to flare out kind of like a mermaid tail. And then you also have, I don't know the exact word for it, but it's basically form-fitting all the way again to your knees, but instead of flaring out like a mermaid, it kind of just flows to the ground. Those are the main kind of styles that I found. There could be other ones. I'm sure there are other ones that I'm not mentioning. And of course, the fabric in those styles will make the dress look completely different. So you can have satin, which is like the clean white look, a little shiny. You can have tulle, which is just, you know, more flowy. You can have beaded everywhere. You can have lace everywhere. You can have straps. You can have no straps. You can have off the shoulder. You can have skinny straps. Whatever you want, honestly, and it'll make the dress look so different. Even if every dress you try on is A-line, depending on the fabric, the cut, the sleeves, it'll look completely different. This is something I didn't know, but wedding dresses are surprisingly customizable. For example, I tried on a strapless dress. You were able to add off the shoulder sleeves to get a feel for what that would look like. You can add a belt. You can take off some of the fluff under a ball gown dress. So if you guys have a vision or you don't like one specific part of a dress, but everything else you love, just ask your stylist if that can be changed, because most likely it can. I don't know the background of making wedding dresses, but from what I've learned ordering my dress is that it's made, like you try on the sample, they order the dress for you, and then the designer makes it to how you want it. Another thing I wanted to mention is for my tall gals, you can get extra length. When you're trying on dresses, ask your stylist, one, is there extra fabric tucked under? And then two, does this come in extra length? So for example, for my dress, when I tried it on barefoot, it did hit exactly where it was supposed to on the ground. But if I were to wear like an inch heel, 2-inch heels, I think it would be like half an inch off the ground, which you're paying a lot of money for and you want it to lay perfectly. So I was going back and forth, but I ended up getting the extra length, which gave me 3 extra inches. So that gives me a lot more leeway when trying on the dress for the first time after ordering it, and then any alterations that need to be done. When I added extra length, it added 2 months to the time when I will actually receive the dress so I can try it on for the first time. It will take a little longer probably for any extras or any subtractions you do to your dress. So just keep that in mind. I found my dress, 13 months out from our wedding? 14 months out from our wedding, and it will be coming in 6 months before our wedding. So that gives me plenty of times for alterations. Again, the timing just depends on how many alterations you think you need, how easy the alterations will be. Before we move into details about once you find your dress, I do also want to say that A lot of wedding boutiques sell tiaras, veils, headpieces, any accessory you could probably think of, they have. So if you are wondering about how it would look with a certain headpiece, make sure to ask if you can try that on when you found your dress to see the complete look. Try on veils of different lengths, different fabrics, veils that go over your face if you want that, veils that don't. They really have it all to make it as close to your wedding day as possible. They even have fake bouquets where you can literally just see the whole complete look together. So if your stylist doesn't already offer you that, make sure you ask about that. All right, next let's talk about you found your dress, the one you're in love with. By the way, if you don't cry, that is totally fine. I did not cry. I'm not a very emotional crying person unless it I don't know, it's sentimental or just, I don't know. It just depends for me. So the way I knew I found my dress is I was basically speechless. My jaw was on the floor basically, and I didn't want to take the dress off. I just loved twirling in it. I loved being in it. My friend who was with me said he got the chills. So I just want to put that out there because I feel like there's this thing you know you found your dress when you're sobbing or your parents are sobbing. That sounds so dumb, but I just want to put that out there because I feel like for wedding stuff, there's such a pressure to be oh, your groom has to cry. If your groom doesn't cry, he doesn't love you, or all this dumb stuff. So I just needed to put that in there. So you found your dress, you purchased it, you do buy it right then and there because obviously if you didn't, then they're making this custom dress for you, and if you forget to pay, the business isn't gonna make any money. So you pay right there when you find your dress. It doesn't come in, like I said, until however many months. I think an average time would be 5 to 6 months, which is why you wanna find it sooner rather than later. I'd rather have extra time and it just kind of chilling in my closet. But as soon as you start wedding planning or talking about your wedding, I don't think it's a bad idea to go looking for wedding dresses just because, like I said, one, it could take you 5 different shops to find the wedding dress you absolutely fell in love with. 2, for me, for example, I went to one here and then a month later I went to another one. Or I was in town in Virginia and then I could go to another one. Or I'm traveling next month to see my friend in Florida. I could go with her then. So for me, I didn't mind looking early because I knew it was gonna be so spread out because I didn't have anyone here in Texas to go with me. So that's another thing. And then also, like I said, alterations or any changes you wanna make, how long is that gonna take? So just keep the timeline in mind. But yeah, you pay for the dress, then you wait for it. They let you know when it comes in. When it comes in, you make an appointment, you try it on, make sure the dress is everything you dreamed of when you tried it on for the first time. Make sure it fits correctly, it's the correct size. And then you also wanna make sure you have your shoes by then because that's when they'll check the length, make sure it hits the floor correctly. You can color match your shoes to your dress. Is it white or ivory? Once the store gets it in, you try it on. Either the store will have alterations within the store or you have to go to a separate person. A lot of times if the boutique doesn't have alterations within the store, they have recommendations for you, so you can just go off that list. Or if you have a trusty tailor for all your clothes, use that person, but you'll most likely have to find that person on your own. And then I haven't done alterations yet. Obviously I don't have my dress yet. I haven't tried it on. I was told for my dress the alterations wouldn't be too much because for sizing, the waist and hips were exactly right. It was just the bust that would need to get changed and then the length. So for me, oh, and a bustle. So for me, I think it's 3 alterations, which my stylist said were pretty simple. So she didn't expect it to take too long, but of course I'll get more detailed information once I talk to the tailor. I did want to mention for extra length, it did cost me an extra $100, which I get it, it's more fabric, and honestly I'd rather pay $100 than it being an awkward just shy of the ground shortness. To wrap this video up, I'm going over my notes. I'm sure I forgot some things. When I film these sets of videos, I feel like it's so hard to make sure I get all the points across and give you guys as much information as possible. So one thing I forgot to mention is that I think the price range, the lowest, unless you get used, go thrifting, or get your dress from a sample sale, which is, I'm pretty sure, I haven't been to one, but I'm pretty sure are the sample dresses that they no longer have stock for. They put them out for sale and then you can buy them obviously at a cheaper price. Besides those, for like a brand new dress, Anthropologie I think had some of the cheapest wedding dresses that I've seen so far, which is a little surprising. But I would say 900, around like 900 for like a boutique that sells wedding dresses only. Was the cheapest that I found or I saw. I know there are also some clothing stores that sell wedding dresses and they have cheaper dresses, but for boutiques that solely sell wedding dresses only, I think 900 was the cheapest I found. So just keep that in mind if you are on a budget. There are ways to find cheaper dresses like I mentioned. My last and final takeaway for brides, because like I said, I feel like I just ramble on in these videos and I'm not exactly sure what I said until I edit. But my final one takeaway, if you take away anything from this video, is try on every and all dresses. Like I said earlier, I am a very simple, chill gal. I don't dress up a lot, but I was very surprised that I liked kind of like the more dramatic looks. Also, strapless, straps, off the shoulder, try them all. Try on all different fabrics, how they flow on your body. Everyone's gonna be different. Try on the all beaded dresses, try on all the lace dresses, satin. Just try on every type of dress because I promise you will be surprised what you like and what you don't like. And that is all I'm gonna say about that. But don't be hesitant. Especially if you're like, no, I know for sure I do not like a mermaid dress. Try it on because you might be surprised. I don't know if it's just wedding dresses that do that to you, but just try them all on. Also, I will say, last thing, I keep thinking of other things. Last thing, wedding dress sizes are very different from normal sizes. So, for example, I'm normally like a 6 or an 8, and I think I had to get a 10 or a 12 in wedding dresses. Don't be alarmed by the number. They, for some reason, make them a lot smaller than normal clothing. Again, we all know all sizes for every store are different, so don't be alarmed by that. But just have fun, enjoy the experience, enjoy being pampered, playing dress up, and you will find your dress. Don't worry, don't stress. It might take you a little longer. Some people might find it the first dress they try on. Some people might try it the 50th dress that they try on. I think it took me 15 or 20 dresses to try on to find the one that I love. So don't lose hope, it's out there. If you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what episode I should do next. We've been calling vendors left and right, so anything you guys want to know, comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.